single headline that I see emphasizes the record level, particularly of pay, that Goldman is anticipated to have as a result of the record results they put out yesterday. The facts on Goldman Sachs are this. We all know that during a time of incredible duress when our financial system was potentially going to completely fail, Goldman Sachs received taxpayer money, bailout money. Now, things got better like we all theoretically hoped they would, right? Our system stabilized, the banks did not fail. Goldman Sachs repaid the money that the taxpayers lent them. And by the way, in the interim period, they were paying interest on that. So we got the money plus interest. But somehow when these numbers came out, we're all supposed to be angry that Goldman Sachs did so well. And how is that possible? How can they do well? We should hope that they fail, and we should divide the profits by the number of employees and get astronomical numbers and imply that all these are bad people. Look, there are some fair conversations we need to have on regulation and on how much risk these institutions can take and how they should be structured and how we deal with systemic risk. And those are real conversations that we should have. But, you know, Willie, let's just say you got a check from the government, right, in the stimulus package, $300, and you had to pay tax on it and repay it, and you didn't have a job, but then you got a job. So you paid your interest, and then you repaid your $300. But then people are angry at you, and they say that you should be using every dollar you get to, instead of buying a sofa or a new television, for the rest of your life, you should be, I don't know what, donating it back to the government, giving it to taxpayers?
Erin, I agree with you that somehow Goldman surrendered its right to turn a profit. But can you explain the outrage? I mean, why are people upset by this?
Well, the bonuses.
Well,
but they made the money.
Okay, but here's an issue on the bonuses. Yes, people are going to be upset about that. But again, this is an institution that no longer has federal money. So we can talk about how we want to regulate compensation, real issue, but to just say it's our right to be angry about it perhaps is a little bit off base. The other thing to keep in mind, this number that you keep seeing that they've earmarked, $11.4 billion for compensation, they have the rest of the year to get through. If things fall apart, that money goes out of the compensation kitty and it will not be paid.
Well, isn't it important also, Erin, to point out that Goldman, unlike J.P. Morgan, Bank of America, they're not loaning money to anybody. They're not in the mortgage business. They're not in the credit card business. They're just in the business of making money.
No, you're completely right about that. I'm glad you raised it. You're right. They're in the business of making money.
You look at $11.4 billion set aside for bonuses, and I'm a capitalist. If you do well, I want to reward you. But at the same time, is now really the smartest time to be doing this? And what we hear these stories about people that leave companies that they wreck, and they've gotten $150 million golden parachutes over the past decade. This seems like more of the same. There was a time when people ran businesses, made $3 or $4 million, and employed, tens of thousands of people.
Right. Now, but again, this gets, you raise a fair point, Joe, but it's to Barnaple's point, which this company is in the business of trading. That's what they do. They're not in the business of making widgets or making cars. They're in the business of trading, and they take a piece of that disclosed profit.
Okay.
That's what they do. Now, I mean, look, you can have a broader conversation on comp and how you want it to be linked to long-term performance